Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today, together with our friends from the New York Times, on the occasion when our joint product in Israel carries the New York Times itself. The ties between Haaretz and the New York Times go back maybe 60 years, when Haaretz first acquired the rights to reprint in Hebrew in Israel New York Times content. And I think we were one of the first customers of this service that the New York Times offered. And we have been doing this ever since. 20 years ago, we created a partnership between Haaretz and the International Herald Tribune that at the time was published in Paris by the Washington Post and the New York Times. And we started to distribute in Israel the International Herald Tribune with, for the first time, Haaretz in English. This was the project of the late David Landau, who later became chief editor of Haaretz and whose widow is here with us today. Since then, the International Herald Tribune became a New York Times company, and now we have the New York Times as part of our product here. For many years, people said that one of the reasons for the close and intimate ties between the US and Israel is their shared values. This may still be the case, but the values have changed, and the Americans with whom these values are shared have also changed. When Israel has become more nationalistic, more ethnocentric, stronger but more paranoid, and with fascist tendencies, the only shared values I can think of are the values of Donald Trump and his supporters. And indeed, it is quite obvious Trump is the preferred candidate of many Israelis, especially on the right. It is not surprising, therefore, that in 2012, the editor of the Jerusalem Post, Steve Linde, said that Prime Minister Netanyahu told him that the two greatest enemies of Israel are the New York Times and the Haaretz. Two newspapers that really have shared values of liberal democracy, free speech, and human rights, and two newspapers for which Israel and its success are so very important. Netanyahu later denied saying so, but I nevertheless took our joining us with the New York Times as a compliment. But just to give full disclosure, we are not just the enemies of right-wing Israel. Golda Meir, years ago, said that Haaretz opposed each and every Israeli government except the government of the British Mandate. And these were only labor governments. But that's one of the most important reasons for free press, to criticize governments and not just to compliment them. When just recently the editorial of the New York Times called for American support to Security Council decision addressing the occupation, the settlements, and the two-state solution, I thought it really was a very pro-Israel editorial. So our partnership is indeed made in heaven. May the coming years see it continue to flourish. Originally, our plan for the day included an interview of President Peres by Roger Cohen. It is everyone's loss that Shimon Peres is no longer with us, and I thank Chemi Peres for his assistance and participation. Thank you very much.